Meeple Talk!
Hello everyone, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Adam.
And welcome to Meeple Talks. This week we've got Kingdomino. This is one of our Gen Con selections of games that we scouted and took up for the latest event here. So it's a really cool game. Blue Orange is the producers of it. Shall we have a look at this? What can you tell us about this game?
Well, it's obviously a tile-laying game, very similar to Dominoes, which is why they call it Kingdominoes. And the king part is that you have a castle and you're building your land and trying to score as many prestige points as you can. So, yes, it's a very light game. And I would say it's for all ages, except ages under 8, according to the box.
Yep.
And so... we'll
Don't
move
play
right.
it if you're hungry.
That's right. Terrible things might happen. Might swallow a piece. Who knows? So, with no further ado, let's tell you more about the game.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the Kingdomino Kingdoms. So, how a game begins, you can see not a lot to components here. Everyone's got their own respective castle with their color of meeple that's going to be going along with that. You've got a series of landscape tiles that much like, almost like a set of traditional dominoes. You're going to have two halves that might be different or same, and the idea is to match and line them up. You've got roughly for tiles, depending on the number of players, you're going to have 12 tiles per game to draw from. And how the game actually plays out. Everyone starts with their home base and their castle on here. And the idea is as you get tiles, you're going to be building and surrounding that castle with those matching tiles. You always want at least one half to match one of the other halves of the tiles that are adjacent to it. Hopefully, completing a 5x5 square. The only rule really is that your boundary is going to be no more than 5 tall by 5 wide, so you've got to fit within that corresponding boundary. Castles can be in the middle or not, but you kind of want them to be in the middle because you get some bonus points in the end, which I'll just mention. Now, how the actual gameplay works. Here we have our meeple sitting on tiles. We've pretended that we've already done a little bit of the selection already. How selection works is that the draw pile, we're going to draw 4 random tiles. They're all going to be shuffled, and they have different numbers on the back, and these are going to represent their relative worth, perhaps, because they may have special features like crowns on them that you want. And how the choosing works is that once these are ordered in numerical order, we're going to flip them over. We're going to look at, okay, here we go. We've got some nice ones with crowns, different features on them. Here's some blank ones, so you can see not as desirable, perhaps. And as players choose, what's happening is that the lowest value is always going to be on one side of the board, highest values are going to be on the other. Why that's important is that as players choose, the one who chose the weakest position last time is going to choose first. This is going to determine turn order. So green. Well, what does green want? Well, yeah, it looks like he's looking for a lot of yellows and blacks, perhaps. Well, this one might be nice because it's also got a crown on a green. As he chooses his spot, the tile that was previously sat on is now going to be available for placement. So here, well, got a nice group of collection of yellows. We're going to place that there. Yellow is going to choose, well, let's just pretend everyone's kind of chosen as they've liked. And you'll notice that the turn order has now changed. So for the next round of selection, yellow is going to go first, followed by pink, green, and blue. The ultimate goal, how the points, and that's really all it is that your points are going to be determined by the square area of number of tiles that are in the same landscape type multiplied by the number of crowns. So this one's pretty nice because there's 6 tiles here, 3 crowns there, 6 times 8, 6 times 3, 18. And that will be added to other landscapes like this one. Oh, this one's really nice because it's got 6 crowns total times 3. Again, another large scoring area. Well, this area, nothing because there's no crowns. So it's got to be landscape times number of crowns. And essentially all it is whoever has the most points is going to win the game. There are special features or special points that are awarded to anyone who can complete their full 5x5 will get an extra bonus of 5 points, as well as if your castle happens to be in the very center, there's a bonus of 10. This unfortunate player, if just the tiles were not available, let's say, for example, well, one tile cannot place here or here because that will go outside of the boundary of the 5x5. So unfortunately, that will be a wasted tile. So this player will lose out on both the perfect square as well as the castle for not being in the middle. So, and really that's all it is. Whoever gets the most wins. And we are back! So,
yes. So
I was only going to say thank you for that rendition, but I think I said that one this time. So
what rendition? Was there a rendition? Oh, that. Thank you for that rendition.
Right, thank you. I'm quite proud myself.
Yes.
What do you think of the game so far?
Well, I think this is a great game. Now, the only thing I'll say is that it's so simple that over multiple plays, you might get maybe bored of the game. I don't know. But like dominoes, it's always different. Every time you play it, the tiles are in different orders. You're building different things. It is, on the other hand, super easy to learn, very fast to play. And because of this ingenious mechanism with the numbers on the back indicating the tiles that are more or less useful and the turn order automatically being determined every round, you don't have to think about that. So that's one less thing. It's a very elegant game in its game design. And I can't say enough about it. I think it's a great game. I love playing it. We played it several times. We played it with kids. And
I was just going to bring up that very same point, because the strange thing is we were minding our own business in a restaurant, having our dinner, playing it up, and we had these kids come. I was like, oh, what is that? And so we're like, do you want to play? Sure. So when they come up with the age 8+, they were actually quite spot on and right, because that's who we had playing with us. And they took it up very easily. They got the idea behind it. It was very easy to teach, very easy to play over and over, and people got into it very, very quickly. So it's got that nice versatility, and it's easy to pack up, pick up, and go. Games only last maybe about 15 minutes because the draw and choices are pretty simple. So, I mean, as Adam said, because there's not so much variety that like other complex games, but it's also one that makes it a quick filler if you need that, or a quick travel game if you need that. So it's very smartly designed in that way. And for games like original Dominoes or Carcassonne, if some of you thought it's kind of like that as well, they add like nice little 3D depths to it too, where it's not just one component of tiles. They've got the castles, they've got the meeples, so they make it a little more visually meaty in that sense.
Yeah, and I'll say one other thing. It's for 2 to 4 players, and I think it works for any number of players because of the way the numbers break down. So if there's 2 players, there's 24 tiles. If there's 3 players, there's 36 tiles, and if there's 4 players, there's 48 tiles. So it all works out evenly. And it's all well balanced no matter how many players.
The scoring could be, I was just going to say, the scoring could be wildly different in the sense because as you're removing tiles based on fewer players or adding more, it's random which tiles you remove. So you could, in theory, maybe you remove some of the high value tiles and have games that are very low scoring or greatly scoring. And it could have a lot of swing just depending on which ones are available and who chooses first.
Yeah, and I think that's a positive thing because then the game is even more unpredictable. You could have very few crowns in one game, like a 2-player game where half the tiles are taken out. But you could also say, well, let's put all the tiles or maybe all of the high numbers in one pile and the low numbers in the other, and then you can take one in the other. Like you can work out easily a scheme so that you can balance the game however you want.
But you don't have to.
Yes.
And it works nicely either way. So I really recommend this game. It's a nice, easy pick up and go one, and I'd say, you know what, give it a try.
Yes. I think this will even, on some days, replace King of Tokyo as our filler game after we... Because I love King of Tokyo as a filler game, like at the end of the night when we play all our big games. You just want to throw some game in there. Yeah. So this one is a worthy contender.
Yeah, I'm definitely it's going to be retained on our shelf for quite some time.
Yes.
So I would say come and check out this game as well. Also, pending coming up, there's going to be Queendomino news of release coming up for that. So we're looking forward to checking that out as well. So keep watching and hopefully we'll have that for you soon.
Yeah, so that's our show. And have a great night. See you next time.
See ya.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.